Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. I got my good friend from Stephen Dow back from Velocity Mortgage. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, man. That first video where we did buy and holds was awesome. Then we did changes in program. And at the end of that, we said, let's talk about blanket, but we're also going to talk about blanket and or portfolio loans. But
Right.
before we do all of that, let's get that little marketing thing out of the way.
Perfect. Although I work for Velocity Mortgage Capital, all the ideas and topics discussed on this channel are that of my own. And let's talk about some blanket or portfolio loans.
So the first thing, Steve, and I want to do is clearly define or connect what a blanket loan is and a portfolio loan, because I see investors use them differently.
Right.
But in reality, in my experience, they're 100% the same thing. Is that
Pretty
true?
much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's just the I guess, description or the terminology used, but it all describes the same thing of financing under one loan transaction with multiple properties. So that's pretty much all it is.
Yeah. So let's talk about why blanket and portfolio loans are very powerful, right? Again, I'll say it this way, right? So I've been in a market for a long time. I built up, I can't get any more bank loans, blah, blah, blah. In theory, I could take 10 houses, right? Which currently are individually mortgaged and FHA backed.
Right.
I could come to you and say, hey, here are the 10. Obviously, you have your requirements. People check with him what they are. And I bring them to you. They're some number. You
Right.
refi out
Right.
those FHA loans are gone. I'm now under one umbrella, one loan payment, all that
Right.
stuff, right?
Right. Technically, yeah. I mean, in a sense, so depending upon what your desired terms are or what your strategy is, but yeah, in a sense, it's just grouping together multiple properties. But usually, the only reason to do that is each individual property can't typically stand on its own to get the individual financing, and or when you group them together, you typically get a better price or fee cost to them by doing so. But in my case, I can give you the best of both worlds. You just got to give me a call. So I'll typically honor the same fee structure to give you the money savings, but allow you to individually finance them separately, because there's some pros and cons with, at least with us, with blanket loans or portfolio loans. Later on down the road, if you want to sell one off or refinance one off out of the 10, let's just say, you can't do a partial release. Yeah. So with my way, you get both the fee savings and the ability to refinance or sell one off separately after the fact. So again, flexibility.
Yeah, again, folks, that's why you got to call them. This is not my game. I'm just an investor who wishes I had non-QM lenders lined up when I was really active buying and buying and buying. So call them, work it out, do your stick. Not my thing. No relationship. The other thing that I think is interesting, I hear all the time, especially now, because I really do think mom and pop landlords, there's going to be a lot of them that want to sell their portfolio.
Right.
I have successfully been able to convert some of those conversations to seller financing, which is by far the best way to go if you can.
Of course.
But not everybody wants to. Some people just want to be done. And there's very few people out there that have deep enough pockets that could really buy an entire portfolio without a lender. Right. And let's be clear, banks are not going to be, they're not going to be thrilled financing, 10 50K houses in the center of the US. It's just not going to happen.
That's not their stick. No, you're right.
It's not their stick. Dodd-Frank makes that actually an unprofitable business.
Right.
However, instead of doing 10 50K purchases, you could come to you and go, hey, we're going to do a 500K portfolio loan.
Yep.
You got to put 20% down, which is 100 grand versus 500. It's awesome. Or whatever. I don't want to, whatever your program is, you do with that. But I really do think portfolio loans or blanket loans, it's going to empower some pretty creative acquisitions in this next.
It already has. We've been discussing. I've got a portfolio loan in process right now from one of your viewers. So again, because the smaller markets, it's tough to get the financing. So same thing. Each individual property, I think only was valued at, I'd say, if I'm remembering correctly, maybe 65, 70,000 each. Okay. So individually, he couldn't get any financing. So we grouped 3 of them together. So we're able to get the financing done. But yeah, that's just the perfect topic you brought up. Yeah.
Pretty cool. So again, folks, realize that part of this game, when you're learning your market, your buy box, all of those things, you find opportunities that are bigger than you expected. Maybe you can do them. I don't know. But I think reaching out to Stephen is an option. And again, don't let vocabulary confuse you. One bank wants to call them portfolio. One real estate meetup calls them blanket loans. It's all the same things. It's multiple assets accumulated, valued together in one loan. But remember, no individual releases in this example. That's a big deal. What does that mean? That means you do 10, as in our earlier example. 10 years from now, you want to sell off the one on White Street or Brown Street or whatever, you can't, right?
Correct.
That's
you'd have to sell the whole group or refinance the whole group out at the same time.
Yeah.
But with my way, I'd still give you the money savings and the ability to separate it later on. So
yeah, so call Steven, figure all that out because it's too
I
confusing
love it.
for me.
Bring it to me. Bring it to
but
me.
let him do his job. But what I really want you to understand, one rental at a time, is the process is the same. Buy box, understand what you're looking at. Inventory is growing. I've talked about it now 2 days in a row. It's up 10.9% in a month. Opportunities are coming. I do believe with the threat of higher capital gains, some mom and pops are out. This eviction moratorium screwed with them. They want to sell.
Right.
So don't overlook a bigger portfolio purchase. Call Steven, run some numbers, see if he'll support it. There are some places he doesn't lend.
Right.
And again, lastly, does it suck that you can't sell 1 out of 10? Yeah. But again, they got the money, they make the rules. So don't worry about 10 years from now. If it makes sense now, see if it works in your scenario. How do you want them to reach
the
out?
flexibility.
Yeah.
It's sdow@velocitymortgage.com. But I was also going to bring up a topic that you had mentioned as far as with the seller financing and capital gains. You can do a combination, do half and half with my loan and then half there. So then they don't hit that capital gains threshold and you're still able to get, a good portion of it financed. So you don't have to come out of pocket so much. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Oh, you know what I would do in that scenario, man? I'd be playing with purchase prices. I'm gonna buy this one lower. That's gonna go up there. Yeah, I'd be getting really creative in that sample.
Well, this is where I wanted to bring up that particular topic. So we do have that ability to kind of, structure that if that scenario is feasible, as far as either the seller doesn't want to, have that capital gains and or also wants to, be done with everything.
They want a little cheddar at the end of the day, right? So
Yes, sir.
They want
Yes,
cash
sir.
for 4 of them, and then they'll finance the other 10 or whatever it was.
Correct.
So because again, what I would be doing is negotiating a portfolio price, right? I want a number for the 14.
Yep.
And then, oh, by the way, I would come to you and I would be going, oh, the price is here and here, and this one's there. And yeah, I'd be having fun with that.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, Steven, thank you very much, brother. You enjoy your weekend, folks. As we mentioned in episode number 2, let's pound him today and Saturday. Let's give him Sunday off for America's birthday and then hit him hard on Monday as well. So Steven, thanks, buddy.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Yep.